When Apple unveiled the AirPods, no one would have expected it to become the juggernaut that it is today. As a whole, the Apple AirPods lineup sells close to or over 100 million units a year, or over $20 billion of revenue every single year. They generate more revenue than the combined revenue of Spotify, Twitter, and Square, and surpass the total GDP of over 80 countries. And I'm not talking about all of Apple's revenue, I'm talking about just the AirPods alone. Why am I telling you all of this? I say this to help you visualize how dramatically the AirPods have changed our lives since their introduction. We now have a plethora of options from the likes of Sony, Bose, AKG, Oppo, Soundcore, and so many more, thanks to the doors that the AirPods have opened, and the adoption of it from consumers as Apple started the trend of killing off headphone jacks. When you look at how the AirPods Pro jumped onto the scene, they were honestly a pretty stellar overall package compared to the Bluetooth earbuds that were out at the time. They had some great ANC, great at the time transparency, and a pretty solid but not mind-blowing sound quality. It stood amongst other industry leaders like Sony, but since then, the competition has caught up tremendously and even surpassed the AirPods Pro on multiple points. That's why I was curious to see how Apple would follow up the AirPods Pro with the AirPods Pro 2. But when Apple announced the AirPods Pro 2, it honestly didn't seem like much of an upgrade outside of a few things. It even looked pretty much the same, but after using them for a few weeks, I think they're anything but a minor refresh, but a shocking yet subtle leap ahead, and I hope I can show you and give you an experiential understanding of this leap forward based upon my knowledge and background as an audio engineer of over 15 years. Now, you may have missed one keyword that I just said a moment ago: experiential. That's what makes this video and my videos on audio unique. I have a custom built rig with high quality audio components that allow me to capture the sound quality and performance of the AirPods Pro 2. That means you can hear and experience the comparative differences between them and the original AirPods Pro. So not only will I share with you what I'm hearing, but you'll be able to hear what I describe as well. So to better enjoy this ride, you want to make sure that you have a pair of headphones or earbuds in both of your ears to get the best experience. So how about we jump right into one of those experiences? Let's listen to this first song of many songs spanning a variety of genres. This track is filled with a lot. There's a lot of subfrequencies here, but what I want you to listen to is a snare sample and how it changes sounds depending on which earbud you're listening to. That should tell you a bit about how the high-mid frequencies differ between the two. Now, one could say that the sound quality is essentially the same between the original AirPods Pro and the AirPods Pro 2, and I can honestly understand how someone might arrive at that conclusion. If your ears aren't as developed to hear changes in sound as much as someone like an audiophile or mixing audio engineer, you might not notice it. But that's actually something that's really good because it won't alienate users of the original AirPods Pro. Apple didn't dramatically change the sound, but refined the sound a bit more for the AirPods Pro 2. In the song we just listened to, you may have noticed that the snare sample stuck out a bit more, and maybe it was a little bit brighter. That's because the new model has reduced the high mids a little bit, so it's less papery sounding, which kind of sounds like a and some people in the audiophile community might describe it as shouty. This brings a bit more clarity to the snare, which makes it a bit nicer to listen to. There's also a slight bump to the high end to open it up a bit more. It adds some clarity to the air for things like cymbals, reverbs, and the air of vocals. There are some tracks that you'll really hear this clearly on, and I'll point it out. And then the low end is boosted, but not in a haphazard way that muddies it up and makes it sound congested like up here. Apple has managed to tastefully add a touch of extra bass without issues, and that results in a more punchy sound. Drums sound livelier, beefier, and heavy. This is especially fun if you listen to metal, funk, country music, or other styles that really focus on really punchy drums and bass guitars. Now, there are some really interesting nuances to the soundstage that I found interesting. Depending on whether a song is super bassy and full sounding or more open, airy, and high-end focused, the perception of soundstage or how wide things sound will vary depending on which model you're using. When listening to something bassier, full, or perhaps a bit more high-mids focused, the AirPods Pro 2 will sound a bit more closed in, but a little bit more focused in front of your head or a little bit above it rather than off to the sides of your head compared to the original AirPods. Male vocals will also feel more intimate and closer to you. And when listening to more airy songs like cinematic compositions with strings, the AirPods Pro will actually sound wider and more vast. It's really interesting, and you'll be able to hear a bit more in some of the songs later on in the video. Seeing that most songs are more low end and mid-range heavy, that means that the original AirPods Pro may sound more open and wide more often than not compared to the AirPods Pro 2, which could be seen as a downside, but I think the trade-offs are worth it. As a whole, for the discerning ear, this will be really a very nice upgrade from the original AirPods Pro and truly makes these not only more enjoyable to listen to, but places them amongst one of the best sounding wireless Bluetooth earbuds out there. But it's important to note that sound is not the entirety of a Bluetooth earbud, but it's about the sum of its parts. So let's talk about everything else the AirPods Pro 2 have to offer after we listen to this next track. This song will actually demonstrate a lot of what we just talked about. For the AirPods Pro 2, listen for the kick drum becoming more punchier, the brighter high-end reverb, and a more focused and intimate vocal. For the original AirPods Pro, listen to how it sounds wider compared to the 2s. By the way, these videos take me over 60 hours to make so I can give you an immersive experience. If you'd like to support more videos like these, please consider using the links in the description for any of your purchases or leave me a super thanks. That helps me purchase other earbuds and headphones so I can review those for you for free. When you initially look at the AirPods Pro 2, it really doesn't look much different. The stem design persists, which some dislike, and because of that, it's likely a good business decision for Apple to keep. The IPX4 water resistance for the case and earbuds also continues, which is okay for some sweat and light rain. Unfortunately, we still don't have a black color, and Apple continues to use a glossy look for the earbuds and case, which honestly adds a bit of a cheap look to it in my opinion. They can also be prone to getting scuffs and scratches on them, but thankfully there are cases that you can get for them from brands like Dbrand or Nomad, which I have links for in the description. Some sensors and mics are relocated, like the in-ear sensor that relies on skin now instead of proximity. That means that you can place your AirPods in a pocket or on your desk or wherever else and it won't start auto playing on you. That's great for you, but tough gig for me trying to get samples for ANC and transparency mode. Apple has included an extra small pair of ear tips for those with extra small ear holes. This is nice to see and very important as a proper seal is critical for the best sound quality and performance for features like active noise cancellation. Speaking of ear tips, both generations fit on the other generation's earbud, but Apple's support documents say that the ear tips are designed for their specific generation and that the first generation ear tips have a denser mesh than the second generation ear tips. Because of this, using the first generation ear tips on the AirPods Pro 2 will affect the sound. First, this really piqued my curiosity, so we'll satisfy that in a moment when we can actually hear how things change with the wrong ear tips. But what Apple's saying here isn't uncommon. Second, if you use headphones and replace the ear cups before, you know that it can dramatically change the sound of them. This is not a cash grab opportunity, but one of the many ways manufacturers use to tune things and achieve the sound that they want. For instance, I have these Biodynamic DT1990 Pro headphones. They came with 2 sets of ear cups to change the sound from either a more balanced sound or a more analytical listening. I actually have a third-party pair on here to help tame the high end a little bit more. These are just tools used to help achieve a specific sound. So let's hear how the sound changes. Listen to the high end and how bright it can get with the original AirPods Pro ear tips. You'll also hear a lot more in the shouty region, that around 900 Hz to 2K.
When the nights get cold, sometimes when I look over, I see you by a fire with your hands out in the open. And I wonder if you're singing autumn song, or if I'm singing all alone. I must be singing on my own. I'm still falling out of love with you.
And here's a little white noise sample to hear how it changes. This will be brief because it's really not the most pleasant sound, but it's quite revealing. Pretty interesting, huh? One of the best additions to the AirPods Pro 2 that I think every earbud should have are swipe gestures. You can swipe on the stem of the AirPod where each swipe allows for one click up or down on the volume, all without having to touch your phone. I admit it feels a little awkward swiping on a stem compared to something like the Google Pixel Buds Pro, but I can't be bothered to be upset because I'm glad it's here to begin with. This method is far superior compared to the method of adjusting the volume up by tapping one earbud and down by tapping the opposite one. That's clumsy at best and doesn't really work well for those who wear one earbud at a time. The biggest changes can be found on the case with one of the biggest quality of life features, Find My Capabilities. This is like having an AirTag built into the case itself, so you can use an ultra-wideband signal to locate it with some amount of directional accuracy. That is, as long as another iOS device is nearby. You can even make the case play some chirps to help you locate it better. This is a fantastic feature that I wish was on my Google Pixel Buds A series, which I lost 4 months ago. One thing though, the AirPods themselves do not have ultra-wideband support, so you get a fairly inaccurate location detection from it compared to the case. But you can at least play a chirp through it to help you better find it. There's a surprising bit of clunkiness with this setup for finding the earbuds themselves because of the Apple ecosystem. If you've misplaced your AirPod and you're looking for it, it'll become much harder if the earbud happens to be close to another Apple product that will auto-connect to it. If it auto-switches to something like your MacBook, then it's not connected to your iPhone. That means you cannot even get a rough estimate of where it is located or play a chirp sound through it. To get around this, you have to turn off Bluetooth on your computer and make sure it's not playing audio at the same time as your iPhone, or switch the connection to your iPhone from your phone. See what I mean by it being a little clunky? Now those chirps we talked about continue in other areas, ranging from when you put your earbud in the case and it's a bit low on battery, or when you set it on a charger. And these chips are honestly delightful. I just love them. Speaking of charging, the AirPods Pro 2 will give you up to 6 hours of listening time on one charge and up to 30 hours of listening time with the charging case, so a few more hours than the original ones. And I found that the 6 hours of usage was close to my experience. The case is also MagSafe compatible for both the full-size MagSafe and the Apple Watch charger. If there was ever an argument for why MagSafe is so amazing over typical wireless Qi charging, it's a satisfying clunk as the case snaps into place from the magnets. You don't have to worry about accidentally placing your AirPods on a charging pad and waking up to dead AirPods. I freaking love magnets, but they still don't make up for the lack of USB-C on the case, so come on, Apple. Let's listen to this next sample. You'll hear how the soundstage seems to close off a little bit with the AirPods Pro 2, but you'll also hear a bit more of the crispness of the reverb and the snare. Now let's see how the microphones perform in various environments, what they sound like on a Zoom call on default settings, and how it sounds to receive a phone call. While doing that, and to help financially support videos like these and provide you with the value you're looking for while saving you time, I'll test out the mics while telling you about this video sponsor, NordVPN. Surely you must know about NordVPN by now. They're the fastest VPN out there with over 5,600 servers in 59 countries. So you can stream and download things super fast. And it's super easy to use. I just use one click in the app and I'm connected, and choosing a server in another country is just as easy. That makes watching shows and movies only available in another country a breeze. As we're moving into the travel season, it's important to keep your internet connection safe. If you log into your banking information or send personal information, it's essential to keep your data and information secure, especially if you're in like a hotel or airport. Having a VPN makes it easy, and NordVPN is double encrypted. Nord not only makes a VPN, but also has bundle deals if you add in their NordPass software. This password manager helps you quickly do what you're supposed to do instead of using Fuzzy Kitty 123 for all your passwords, naughty. And NordLocker, a secure encrypted cloud storage option to keep your files safe and private. If you'd like to sign up for NordVPN or their other services, go to nordvpn.com/techtoday or click the link in the description to get a 2-year plan plus 4 additional months with a huge discount. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Thanks so much for NordVPN for sponsoring this portion of the video. Here's what the microphone sounds like on the original AirPods next to a busy road with a bunch of cars driving next to it. Here's what the microphone sounds like on the brand new AirPods Pro 2 next to a busy road with a bunch of cars driving past me. How do you think it sounds? Here is what the Apple AirPods first generation microphone sounds like if you're getting a car wash. How do you think it sounds? Here is what the Apple AirPods Pro 2 microphone sounds like if you're getting a car wash. How do you think it sounds? This is what it would sound like if you were to receive an HD phone call and you're wearing the Apple AirPods Pro, the first generation. This is what it would sound like if you were to receive an HD phone call and you're wearing the Apple AirPods Pro 2. How do you think it sounds? As a whole, I'm very impressed with the microphone on the AirPods Pro 2. It seems like it not only sounds clear, but it manages to capture your voice really well and block out some of the noise from the background better than the first generation. What was a bit unexpected was how much better the phone call sounded on the AirPods Pro 2, so that's great. Now for this next track, it's an arena stomper with a ton of min-range for it, so it'll really reveal how each generation differs there. Listen to the buzzy synth melody and hear how it can be a bit papery on the first generation AirPods Pro, while it becomes a bit more pleasant and well seated into the mix for the second generation. It also sounds far more crisp, clean, and bright on the AirPods Pro 2. Now, Apple has claimed that they have 2 times the amount of active noise cancellation, or ANC, compared to their first generation of AirPods Pro. I'm not actually sure what that means and how one might quantify a statement like that, and I wouldn't exactly say that it's 2 times better, but it's certainly different. Here, let's just listen to some samples. Now, the thing that I noticed the most between these two was a change focus in the areas in which sound is being canceled. For the AirPods Pro 2, it seems to focus more on canceling out the low end in the mid-range, leaving mostly the high crisp frequencies to still bleed through a little bit. This does really cover most things that could be distracting, so I can see how this could be considered twice as better. But that's also kind of a personal preference. You may actually find hearing more of the high end more distracting than the low end and mid-range frequencies. As a whole, I really don't think there's much of a difference here to really rave about in terms of ANC. It was solid before and it's solid now, but not something I'd upgrade for. There is one earbud out there though that's making every other earbud look really bad concerning ANC, but that's for another video. This is a track from my personal friend Hannah Parrott. Listen to how the violin seems to move closer to you with more warmth, intimacy, and intensity on the AirPods Pro 2. The center part of the soundstage seems to move from the outside to a more above the head spot, while the rest of the instruments seem to be more separated and in their own spots around you, and that's compared to the first generation that seems to feel more immersive, but they all mush together. As a whole, transparency mode has been a nice thing to have on most earbuds and headphones, but most are rather lacking and they sound rather unnatural or hollow or really bad like a telephone call. With the AirPods Pro 2, transparency mode is astounding. It's so good that the untrained ear could reasonably say that it's like you never had an AirPod in your ear to begin with. It sounds that natural. There's no other earbud that I've used that has managed to achieve this level of natural transparency other than the Bose Quiet Comfort Earbuds 2, which is just slightly better. And hold on. That may sound outrageous to hear because of how good the AirPods Pro 2 transparency mode is, but you'll have to see what I mean when we do a full comparison of the AirPods Pro 2, the Bose Quiet Comfort Earbuds 2, the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 Pro, and the Sony WF-1000XM4s. So you're going to want to make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when I post that video, and if it's already out, there'll be a link in the description or in the card up here. Let's listen to how the transparency mode compares between both models of the AirPods Pro. This is me talking to you, talk. How clear do I sound? Check, 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 check. Transparency mode on the first gen AirPods Pro. Talking with active noise cancellation on. Checking, 1, 2, 3. And then this is me talking with transparency mode on. Checking 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Check, 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 check 1, 2, 3. How do you think it sounds on the Apple AirPods Pro 2? It's so good that you can hear the reverb in this song and the stereo separation. It's also nice to know that the AirPods Pro don't suffer from as much wind noise on the mics, which is really important if you happen to be walking around and it's windy out. Beyond the astounding natural quality of the transparency mode, the AirPods Pro 2 add in a feature called Adaptive Transparency. That's a feature that will listen to the volume of your surroundings and minimize the intensity of loud noises that allow for a more comfortable experience. That's really neat in theory, but in practice, it's not as powerful or as noticeable as I had hoped for. I've tried it with loud noises and progressively louder and louder noises, and if there's something happening, it's extremely natural sounding, and it has its limits. It's essentially like putting an earplug or an earbud if it was off and not doing anything, but without that plugged in feeling and sound. It honestly sounds really natural. I'm not sure if I'm missing something or simply unable to get it to kick in more. So if you have an experience with it starting or working and can describe how it sounds and what made it start kicking in, let me know in the comments. For the song, listen to how the vocals feel more full and present in front of you for the AirPods Pro 2 compared to the first generation. Also listen to how the electric guitar has more bite to it, which is really nice. Whether someone should upgrade is a personal decision and does have a financial component to things, and I don't want people to spend money that they don't have or shouldn't be spending. And I don't like pushing my personal preferences on others, but I care about finding the right choice for you. So here are some things to consider to help you decide. If you're the kind of person that really cares about getting the best sound possible, I think this will certainly be a nice upgrade for you. If you frequently lose your AirPods case or AirPods, this is going to be an amazing upgrade for you. If your battery's starting to die out on your first gen AirPods Pro, these will be a nice upgrade, especially for its longer battery life. If you like wearing earbuds but dislike that feeling of being closed off from your environment, these will be phenomenal for an upgrade because of transparency mode. If you're content with what you already have and you think that ANC is fine on the first generation, then save your money. I don't think that the ANC is that much better on the second generation to warrant an upgrade just for that. Now this song has a killer bass line and kick drum on it. Listen to how much punchier it sounds on the AirPods Pro 2 and how crisp the cymbal and snares are. You can also hear the reverb really coming out on the AirPods Pro 2. As a whole, the Apple AirPods Pro are honestly the best all-rounded Bluetooth earbuds out there. It has some solid sound, swipe gestures, above average ANC, industry-leading transparency mode, and tons of quality of life additions like Find My capability, MagSafe wireless charging, a little speaker, and a spot for a lanyard to boot. There isn't a single earbud out there that checks off every single one of these boxes and easily connects and interacts with the ecosystem that you're connected to. It honestly makes me feel jealous of the Android side of things. But the cool thing is you can connect it to your Android phone and still get a lot of these features, including the swipe gestures. Just make sure you have access to at least one iOS device so you can handle updates and make changes to your settings. Okay, let's listen to one more song as we close out the video. For this track, listen to how the horns go from a bit dull sounding to a bit bright and clear on the AirPods Pro 2. The cymbals are already bright on the song and they become brighter and clear. I think this may be an example of a song that some with sensitive ears to higher end frequencies might find uncomfortable.